so hyped for this video. It's gonna be so valuable. So in the last 90 days, I took a coaching offer from 20k per month. They were stuck there, they couldn't get past it, to now making well over 88k per month in cash collected, not revenue. I hate people that talk revenue. I think that people that talk revenue don't really know what they're doing and they're just bad at it. So in this video, I'm gonna cover the 3 main levers that I used and that my agency used to triple our revenue. So first things first, obviously with full transparency, this is not something that you can implement and that can start working in 48 hours. It's not some quick hack that you can just implement, because building a high performing sales team takes real work, a structure, and proper marketing, right? Because when you're dealing with people, it's not just robots that can implement everything that you teach them in 48 hours. It takes time for them to process changes. So if you're watching this right now, it means that you run a coaching or an info business and that your sales team is underperforming, or they're just not at the level that you know you can reach, right? Maybe your sellers are not hitting their KPIs, and maybe you're stuck at 5 to 30k per month and you have no idea how to scale that. And that's exactly why you clicked on this video, right? So make sure to heavily pay attention, simply because what I'm gonna walk you through in this video has been tested across multiple offers. It has generated millions of dollars. I use it, and every single time I implement it, it basically doubles or triples our revenue. It has been used by multiple people I know running over 500k sales teams. So it's stuff that works, right? Make sure to pay attention. Now, before we get into it, I build and scale coaching businesses to multiple 6 figures per month. If you're stuck between 5 and 30k per month and you want to implement my same exact systems to scale your team over 100k per month, just book in a call through the link below. It's 100% for free. So now let's get into the video. I'm so excited because this is the strategy that has been allowing us to get consistent 9 or 10k days. And obviously it was all thanks to these 3 main levers. So now let's get into this step 1, which is understanding your sales team why. It doesn't matter what role your sales team is in, but this is crucial. It could be the guy at the top, like the top performing closer, or it could be the bottom, so your DM sellers, but you wanna understand all their whys. It could be the guy making you the most amount of money. It could be the guy making you the least amount of money. You always wanna understand why they're doing what they're doing. Because if you operate as a king, thinking about, oh, how much am I gonna make? What am I gonna get out of this? What is in it for me? How can I change? You're completely neglecting what your sales reps are gonna get out of this. And then obviously that leads to them stop caring about what your vision, because when you only care about yourself and what your results are gonna be, how much money you're gonna make, and you don't care about your team, so how much are they gonna make? Why are they even doing in the first place what I'm asking them to do? Why are they in this role? It's just gonna be a mess, because you only caring about yourself means that they're gonna care only about themselves. And they don't care about the program's vision. So what should you do to not let this happen? Really simple. Here's exactly what I did as soon as I onboarded this offer. I started hopping on Zoom and Google Meet calls with every single person on the team one by one. And what I did obviously is I wanted to understand exactly their goals. So, hey man, what is your why? Why are you working in this business in the first place? What's your goal here? Where do you want to get? And every single time that I speak with a person, I'm gonna remind them of what they told me. I'm basically their David Goggins. So let's say that they're not hitting their KPIs. I'm like, hey man, what's going on? Why didn't you hit your KPIs for the day? Is it maybe because you don't want to make X amount of money, or is it because you don't wanna live that lifestyle anymore, or that goal that they told me? Obviously these are what I just told you are surface level goals. You wanna go deeper than that, but every single time that I speak with the person to motivate them, to just make sure that they're always on the same page as me and that we always grow, I'm gonna tie everything back to their why. I'm in their mind 24/7. I'm basically their coach and I'm on their asses. I don't care. I'm always on them, making sure that they're hitting their KPIs, that they're doing everything they need to do, and that they're overperforming. The only way to make that happen is if I always tie everything back to their goals. Because people don't care about hitting KPIs or about closing people. They care about their goals. They care about what hitting those KPIs is gonna get for them, right? And not only that, so you don't only want to understand everyone's goals one by one. Obviously that's crucial, but there's an extra step to it that could make you even more money. So you basically what you want to do is you want to unify everyone's whys together and show them where the company is going together. And basically you're literally going to have an army of people willing to go to war for your program, for your company. You want to make sure that everyone's why is somehow tied to each other, and you wanna basically unify them. And that's the only way that you're gonna get killers that are gonna stuck with you long term and that really believe in the vision of your program and your company. That's the only way, right? So let's say that I have here a group of sales reps. It could be DM sellers, doesn't really matter. Let's say that I have closers here. So what I can do is I can unify and tell them that once we hit like this revenue target, which could be or 100K per month, 120K per month, your why gets accomplished. So I'm basically unifying their goals with my personal goal, right? So let's say that I want to hit 100K per month with my coaching offer. Once I hit that revenue, my goals get accomplished. So what I want to do is I want to be, hey guys, if you're able to get me this, you're also gonna get this. And if your goal is big enough, when they hit that, they're even gonna make more than what they wanna make. They're gonna hit their goals more. They're gonna achieve their goals more than what they expected. So, and you always wanna make them feel like they're a part of something bigger than them. This part here is absolutely crucial. Both like understanding their why one by one and unifying them. Like these are two steps of the whole process which are super crucial, because if not, you cannot get like people long term in your business. You cannot train them properly, and also 90% of the times you're gonna have underperformers which are just gonna slow down your coaching business. What do you wanna ask specifically to your reps? What I usually do is I usually ask them about 3 specific areas, because I think that these are the main ones that everyone wants to grow in and that everyone wants to develop themselves into, right? So the first one is physical goals, the second one is financial goals, and the third one is professional goals. Now, let me break them down one by one and why I asked them, so that then you can go ahead and do the same for yourself. Because I understand that you might be reading physical goals and you might be thinking like, what does this has to do with my coaching business, right? But physical goals is basically just asking them, oh, how do you want to look, man? How do you want to present yourself? And every single top performing sales rep that I've hired and that I've worked with is in absolutely great shape. I have the actual top performing sales rep for this offer, which is absolutely huge. He goes to the gym every single day. He grinds so much and he's huge, right? Because you gotta understand, I mean, you know it probably, that there's a correlation between physical discipline and sales discipline. You always wanna make sure that you understand how they wanna present themselves, how they wanna look. Because obviously everyone's gonna be having goals about how they present themselves. So the second one is the financial goals. So how much do they want to make every single month? And obviously like this stuff is obvious, but most people don't dig into it. Like sure, you might get out of them, oh, they want to make 5K per month, 10K per month, but if you don't dig into it, it's going to be useless. Like you might as well just not ask it, because that we want to get out of them specific numbers that then we can reverse engineer. And now let's go into the third thing that I asked them so that you can understand better what I'm trying to say. So professional goals are the most important goals. And that is like, what do they want to do specifically with the money that they're making? So let's say that they tell you they want to make 5K a month. Oh, what does an extra 5K a month actually do for you? What does that do for you and the people around you? And they're gonna say something like, well, yeah, I can start to travel, I can start to buy nice things, but I can also start buying things for my mom. I'm gonna have saved up money for an emergency and blah, blah, blah. You wanna make them voice goals they might not have even realized that they had until you ask. Cause sure, everyone wants to make 5K a month. Everyone wants to make 10K a month. But why is that number really important for them? What does it do? And you want to make them envision themselves making already those money and living the life that they make with those money. What happens? Then they start to feel connected to their goal and to you as the person helping them achieve it. You're basically going to be sort of like a mentor for them, a coach. Because what you did was literally you made them visualize goals that they didn't even realize they had. Because like 10K a month is just a number. People can do nothing with 10K a month. Like it doesn't really matter. What matters for people is what that 10K a month can actually get them. What their life is gonna look like after they achieve that goal. And honestly, it's not about like X guy hitting the revenue goals anymore. It's about him achieving what he wants. And the consequence is smashing the KPIs. So let's say that someone wants to retire their mom, or they just want to fly out their mom where they live so that they can see where they're living. When they're not gonna hit their KPIs, when they're not being consistent or they're slacking a bit, you're gonna be like, hey man, what happened there? Like, don't you want to fly out your mom anymore? What really happened there? What's going on? Do you realize that if you do not hit a certain KPI for that day, you're never gonna be able to do X goal? So bro, guys, I swear this is a cheat code so big. Cause every single time that I had, and obviously you wanna write these goals down, cause if you have a big team, you're probably not gonna remember every single one, so just make sure you write them down. But obviously, like, when they're able to achieve those goals, everyone's gonna be super happy, everyone's gonna be sharing their wins, and you just build an insanely good connection between you and the sales team, and also between the sales team themselves. Because when I see X guy making X amount of money, I'm gonna be so happy that he was able to reach that goal, right? So please make sure to implement this as fast as possible. Obviously, please, like, don't be egoistic and ask every single one of your sales reps, like, what their goals are. It could be the guy making you the least amount of money, it could be the guy at the top, but make sure that you get every single guy's why. Okay? So obviously then this leads to step 2, which is data and tracking systems. Because being like absolutely honest, data will tell you everything in your business. And when I onboarded this client sales team, they were doing about 20K per month, and they literally had no data infrastructure. They had no tracking systems. They had no organization. It was just a complete mess that I had to get into and just completely organize everything from scratch. So basically all the numbers were scattered everywhere, and being like absolutely honest, I cannot scale a company sustainably and predictably if I don't know their numbers every single day. I gotta know their numbers in and out. I gotta know their numbers every single day. I gotta know their numbers every single week. I gotta know their numbers every single month. Because if you don't have that, it's just impossible to scale a company predictably and consistently. And obviously, if I don't know what's working and what's not working, the business will break the moment that we try to scale, that we try to push traffic, that we try to hire more people. So how do you implement data tracking? Now, the simple systems that I put in place for this one team are 3 and are the main ones that everyone should have. So the goal here is obviously connect whatever their financial and professional goals are, and you tie it into the data that you're tracking. Because let's say that you know that your closing rate is 30%, which obviously could be better, but let's say that it's 30%, and you know that your closer wants to make 50K per month. Sorry, 5K per month. Obviously 50 as a closer is insane, possible, but a lot of money. So you know that the closing rate is 30%. Now you know how much calls you need to book in with a 30% closing rate for him to make that 5K per month. You know the exact numbers that you need to hit. And how do you book those calls? Through the end setting. So how many reach outs that you do, or how many inbound leads actually book calls? You want to know that exact number so that you know the exact numbers of leads that the exact number of leads that you gotta have in order to book those calls, in order to get that closer, that 5K per month with that 30% close rate. So the number one thing I do to track everything are EOD reports, end of day reports. These are crucial. And I think that pretty much this is something that everyone in their coaching business has nowadays. So obviously, let's say that this is the setter EOD tracker. Guys, this is the exact stuff that we're using. So I'm literally just showing you what we do. So first thing, obviously want to understand the outbound dials that they did for the day. So how many people they called and if they hit their KPI, how many messages they sent for that day. So obviously this is for both DM and dialers. How many follow-ups they did, how many calls they actually booked, how many out of those calls booked actually showed, the close sets, the cash collected, the revenue generated, the daily rating 1 through 10. We want to know every single day what their feelings are. And obviously then we try to just understand like the objections that are preventing sets and the struggles or help they need. So this is like, these two are so good. Because let's say that I see for 3 days in a row that they're always getting the same objection. I'm gonna make content about that objection, that handles that objection, so that my closer or my setter doesn't have to spend time doing it. And basically they just watch that video and they're handled. So same thing for struggles or help needed. Like I know that my setter needs help with having more clarity on a certain part of the DM setting process. Great, I'm gonna hop on a call with them and I'm gonna clear that out, or I'm gonna make better SOPs. So number 2, then you have post-call recaps. So this is something that the closers send every single time to just make sure that we have track of every lead that books a call with us. So obviously we have the lead name, if it was a no-show, if it was a DQ, if it was a close. Is the setter good to reach out? If it's a no close, you always want to have the DM setter reach out on IG as you asking how the call went, so that then he might just handle any objection that the prospect had in the DMs and just book him in again. The cash collected for the day on the call, not for the day, the revenue generated, and if the follow-up message on IG was sent, if it was a no close. So how this should look like is on Discord, because as you can see here, we have a channel on Discord specifically for that, where our closers, as soon as they hop off every single call, it could be DQ, it could be a close, it could be a no close, it could be a no show. We have them text us the name of the lead, the time of the call, the FedRAM recording, because this is key, because then I can review their calls and train them, the outcome of the call, the summary of the call, so how the guy was, the objections that he had down here, like if he had any objection, we text them down here, and then the next step. So is there a follow-up call booked? Does he need to rebook? Does he need to reschedule? Does the setter need to reach out on IG? And that's the only way we make sure that no call booked falls through the cracks of our coaching business. And this is how we basically keep track of everything, right? Because then every week we basically do a sheet where we track every lead that either put down a deposit or has to figure out payments, and then we reach out and we do action steps for them and we collect an extra 10-15k, boom, just like that. And then the final one is tracker sheets. So tracker sheets obviously are just like a summary of everything here and here. So you want to make them always look good and really, really just like smooth. And it's basically, instead of going through all this by yourself or all this by yourself, you just have it here. So you see here the total cash collected. Obviously now this is not real, but this is just a template that I have and that I use. You have the recent closes, or here we have the closer dashboard, how many calls they had on their calendar, the close sets, the live calls, the show up rate, the closing rate, the DQs that they had, and we have every single day we track how many live calls they had, okay? Same thing for the setter here. If you need like any of these templates, just please make sure to reach out on IG as soon as possible. I got you. I will send those straight up. Just text me either on IG or on X. I will send those to you. No worries. It's like side note, as you might have understood by now, I help scale coaching businesses and manage them. So whether you are a coach, a consultant, an agency owner, and you're at between 5 and 30k per month, you don't know what content to post, you don't know what YouTube videos to post, you don't have proper backend systems, or whatever your problem in the coaching business might be, and you're basically just left wondering what to do or how to scale, just booking a call through the first link in the description. It's gonna be 100% free call where I'm basically gonna audit your entire business or your entire process for free. It's not gonna be a salesy call like I'm just gonna drop so much value. That's what I go for. And I always wanna make sure that every single guy that hops on a call with me leaves with the most amount of value and clarity on what they need to do in order to hit those 50, 70 or 100k months, right? So if you're interested and you're looking to scale, just book in a call through that link below. Now let's get into the last point. Right? Or no, sorry. And basically, like, obviously, just to end this point, this is like information you need to know at all times so that you know exactly where the bottleneck is. And obviously, when I use these sheets, I can slowly understand what everyone's weak points are and what everyone's strength points are so that I can train them on the weak points and just have killer closers on my team. Right? Because let's say that I know the closing rate is low. Well, I'm gonna start reviewing the calls, and I'm gonna understand if it's a closer problem, so if he may be not skilled enough, so I'm gonna train him, or if it's a leads problem, so the lead might not be interested enough, or he might have a lot of objections, and that means that I gotta make better content, and I gotta have a better post-booking flow. So it basically just telling me everything that I need to fix in my coaching business. And you're never gonna be able to scale past 50k per month without this. Like, sure, it might get you to 10, 20, sometimes even 30k, but scaling to 50 or 100k per month without this is gonna be impossible. Okay? So now let's get into step 3, which is accountability and work ethic. I absolutely love this one. And like, being honest, I kind of already broke down this point earlier. Now that I know their goals and that I'm tracking everything, what I want to do is I want to reverse engineer everyone's goals into KPIs that we can then use to hit their life goals, right? So let's say that I have a setter named John. John wants to make 5k a month. He wants to buy a nice car for himself, or he just wants to live a life where he can travel. So now that I track data properly, I know that out of 3 people he talks to, he books in 1 of them. So basically now I know the exact numbers of sets that he needs to do in order for him to hit that goal. I know how many people he needs to talk to, how many of those people that he talks to actually book in a call. So I basically know everything. I know everything about him and everything that he should do in order to be able to travel, to live the life that he always wanted to live. And let's say that he needs to do 5 sets a day in order to travel. So what I'm gonna tell him is like, hey John, what I understood from data is that you gotta do 5 sets a day in order to travel wherever you want, whenever you want. And in order to do it, you gotta do at least 150 outbounds every single day. So now John knows exactly what he has to do in order to get those goals, and it's not just an abstract goal that he doesn't really know how to hit, and it's just like work. Now he knows exactly what he gotta do in order to do it, and he's gonna do it. And every time he doesn't do it, I'm gonna be like, hey man, what happened? Don't you wanna travel anymore? What happened there? Simply because I know that a lot of people give KPIs and they're just like, hey man, do 250 reach outs. Hey man, do 100 reach outs. But there's no like intention behind it, and they leave their setters thinking like, why is that number specific? Like, why do I have to hit that specific number? You know that if your setter hits that specific KPI every single day for a month, you're eventually gonna hit that financial goal, right? So it's really like pretty much just knowing exactly what to tell your sales reps every single day. When you wake up, you already know, hey, do this in order to achieve this goal. If you don't, you're not gonna be able to get this, what you want to get out of this role. Like, that's just simple, right? But obviously you cannot have step 3 without first implementing step 2 and step 1. So yeah, oh, what happened there? Okay, so I mean, that was like, being honest, pretty much everything that I did to scale this team's offer from 20 to 88k per month in cash collected, A to Z. This works so well, and I used it multiple times. It's just like crazy that I'm giving this out for free. So I hope you found some really great value out of this video, but most importantly, go implement it. Like I said earlier in the video, if you're looking like at your revenue dashboard, or if you're just looking at your numbers and you know that you could make way more money and you could hit way bigger numbers, but you just don't know how to get there, like it could be a content problem, a marketing problem, a team problem, or whatever it might be, just book in a call through the link below. Or if you're not ready for a call yet, any questions you have, just shoot them over to me on IG. I don't have a DM title on my IG because I don't grow my personal brand there. So apart from that, appreciate you for checking out this video and see you in the next one.